If you're going through a hard time in your life, whether you're going through a breakup, a problem at work, a problem in your relationship, whatever it may be, this video is for you. And it is not going to make sense at first, but I promise if you stick through to the end, we're going to come full circle. This is a teaching I learned from Michael Singer years ago in a course that I took from him, and it's a little bit dark, but I promise it'll make sense. So I want you to imagine that you have a big wart on your big toe and you're really tired of looking at it, so you decide to go get it removed, and you go to one of the finest hospitals with the finest doctors and the finest equipment, and you go into this hospital and you're ready to get this wart removed. You're feeling great, you're feeling okay, you're feeling good inside. The doctors put you on this gurney and they slide you basically into this essentially a hole in the wall where the only part of your body that's exposed is your head. Everything from the neck down you cannot see, and they give you just the right amount of anesthesia where you cannot feel a single thing. So the doctors start the surgery and they decide they're gonna do a little experiment on you. But first they're like, how are you doing? And you're like, I'm good, I'm great. And they're like, are you sure? And you're like, yeah, I'm feeling great, I'm good. So the doctors start with the little experiment and they decide to remove your left leg, then your right leg, then your left arm, and then your right arm. And all of a sudden, you have no limbs. And the doctors are asking you, because again, you can't see or feel anything. They're like, how are you doing? And you're like, I'm good, I'm great. And they're like, awesome. And then they decide to pull back that curtain. They decide to pull that gurney out and you get to see what happened. How you doing then? Not so great, right? You start panicking. You get disturbed by what you see, and all of a sudden you're not okay. All of a sudden your awareness goes nuts because of what it sees, and all of your emotions and all of your thoughts start going in a full-on panic. But 5 minutes ago you were okay. 5 minutes ago you were happy as a clam, you were great inside, but now all of a sudden something that disturbed you has now caused a disturbance inside, and now you're not okay. You, the consciousness that's in there, was okay 5 minutes ago. But the moment that you became aware of something that you didn't like, it disturbed you and distracted your consciousness. And so the question here that we have to ask ourselves is, okay, I am conscious, but what am I conscious of? What is my consciousness distracted by? What is disturbing my consciousness that's preventing me from being okay? Because again, remember, think prior to that surgery, before the curtain was pulled, you were okay. But the moment that you saw something you didn't like, now you're not okay. Why? What is your consciousness distracted by that is causing you to not be okay? And the answer to this question is that your consciousness becomes distracted by three things in this life. The external world that comes in through your senses, so the things that you can see, hear, taste, smell, and touch, that distracts you. And from there, usually what comes in from the external world will cause thoughts that we can be conscious of, as well as feelings and emotions that we can be conscious of. So at any given point, there are numerous things that our consciousness can get distracted by. The external world that comes in through our senses, thoughts, and emotions and feelings. And so what happens is when something comes into our awareness that we become conscious of that we don't like, that disturbs us, we try to push it away. We're like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't like the way it's making me feel. I don't like these thoughts that are coming through. I don't like this experience. And so we try to push it away. And this is what happens when we go through breakups, when we go through hard times, when we go through struggles, when we go through quite literally any experience that's a bit uncomfortable. Our natural inclination is to push it away because we don't like the sensations it's bringing. And what happens is when we resist the experience, it persists. And what happens is our consciousness gets distracted by this disturbance where we end up fixating on it because we're like, I don't like this experience. I don't want to feel it. I want to have a sense of control over it because I don't want this to be happening. And this is what happens when we go through challenging times, right? We go through a breakup and we have all of these feelings that are happening that we don't really like. They're really strong. They're really uncomfortable. And we have thoughts that are also uncomfortable. And we are resisting this whole experience. And when we resist something, it means we're not accepting it. When our awareness becomes aware of something it doesn't like, that disturbs us, we get lost in that experience where we're no longer experiencing life through that objective seat of awareness where we're always okay, right? Before that surgery, you were okay. But the moment something disturbed you, the moment you saw what happened, you weren't okay. And you no longer are viewing life through this objective lens. You're now lost in that experience, and you're lost in the thoughts and emotions coming from that experience. And so if we ever want to be able to move through the hard times in life, we have to learn to come back to that seat of awareness where we are always okay. And when we can do this, we can recognize that these experiences that we have, these thoughts that we have, these emotions that we have are not us. They're just experiences. And ultimately, they're always helping us to become a greater being. Yes, are they uncomfortable? Yes, are they hard? Yes, are they debilitating sometimes? Of course, going through a breakup is not easy. Going through a divorce is not easy. Losing a loved one is not easy. But if you continue to let your consciousness always be distracted by these experiences, you will never be okay. So it's about coming back into that seat of awareness through meditation, through breath work, through grounding, through regulating resources, or anything that's going to help you feel more centered in that seat of awareness, that's going to help you move through that experience and allow you to actually learn from it and grow from it. Because the reality is you were okay before this disturbing experience. So find a way to get back to that place where you were okay, knowing that this disturbing experience is a fleeting experience, but the only reason that it seems so debilitating right now is because your consciousness is so distracted by it. So find a way to pull your awareness back into the seat of the self and connect more with the objective observer of who you are, where you are just observing these experiences you're having rather than being the experience itself and getting lost in it. So I hope this made sense. I know this was a lot, but let me know if you have any other thoughts, questions, or whatever it may be in the comments. Sending you so much love.